Today I messed up by not talking to someone who may have been my dream girl. I was working security for the Jonas Brothers concert at Yankee Stadium. I was placed by the seats near the front of the stage, so I had to make sure aisles were clear and made sure no one potentially got on stage. This dude arrived and had seats that were next to the stage, and his friend that had the other ticket wasn't able to attend, so there was an empty seat. But he had two other friends, two girls, with him that had seats further back, and asked if one of them wanted the vacant seat. They both wanted it, clearly, and I jokingly said they had to fight for the seat. It's only right. One of the girls asked back jokingly, "Are you looking to see a cat fight?" And I said, "I need some entertainment." We joked back and forth for a few minutes, and she was telling me how she flew back into the city earlier in the morning from Cali. The vacant seat was brought up again, and I told her she can't sit there unless she fights for it, and she asked if I wanted to fight, and I said we could step outside right now if she wanted to squabble. Technically, we're on a baseball field, and she said we're already outside, and I said step outside the stadium RN, and she started laughing. We exchanged names before I went back to checking tickets before the show started. She told me her was Gianna, at least I think that's how she spells it. I didn't get to talk to her too much, but the limited interaction I had with her just felt right. I didn't feel nervous or awkward, everything just flowed. The show had an intermission maybe halfway through, and during the intermission, it started drizzling, then it started pouring. She walks up to me and I ask if she's having fun, and she laughs and says yes. We're both soaking wet, laughing, then the show resumes. During the performance, I was scanning the area to make sure everything is good, and I looked her way and we locked eyes, and whatever song was playing she started mouthing the words to the song while pointing at me, and I couldn't help but smile. I just couldn't get my eyes off of her, she was just so gorgeous. When the last song was playing, she left where she was to get a better view for a pic or vid. I thought she wouldn't go back to my area and thought I missed my chance, but she returned to thank me for tonight, and there was my chance to maybe get her number or Instagram at least, and I just completely froze. I was too nervous to ask and told her no problem and have a good night. I was so scared of possibly getting rejected, I didn't just ask to see if she felt what I was feeling. It's been 3 days and I absolutely regret not asking, cause now I'll never know if I made the right choice or not. I legitimately get pissed thinking about it. If I could go back to that exact moment, I would just ask so I could at least have an answer. Today I messed up by renting softcore porn. This happened around the late 90s, so plenty long enough ago that I even laugh about it now, and figured I'd bless you all with a laugh too. It was at either a Hollywood Video or Blockbuster because I had memberships at both. So, the story goes that we only had dial-up internet at home at the time, and internet porn was certainly not nearly as plentiful as it is nowadays, so late-night B-movies were gold for my then teenage self. I want to say both Hollywood Video and Blockbuster had sections of those B-movies available for rent. Regardless, whichever store it was, I headed over one day to rent one of those movies. Brought the box up to the counter, and the clerk very loudly announced the name of the movie to the world. He was putting the disc into the empty case for me to take home and said something like, "Oh, I see you are renting the Pleasure Chronicles, is that correct?" I don't remember that happening other times I was renting things, so I'm not sure if it was a policy at that particular store or the clerk just felt like being an asshole. The guy behind me in line had this mortified look, that if it could have talked, would have said, "Bro, I'm so sorry, the clerk shouldn't be announcing that to the whole world." I just very sheepishly said yes to the clerk's question, completed my transaction, slinked my horny teenage ass out to my car, and went home. Still enjoyed the movie, but was mortified for the rest of the night about what had happened. Today I messed up by catching my husband's sausage. The older kids were at school and the baby was down for his midday nap. Feeling frisky, I thought I would go and annoy my husband. All was going well, soft kisses, playful banter, but then I made the move down to his dick. I rubbed the outside a bit, he was into it. Decided now was time I pulled down his fly, not fast but not exactly slowly either, as my husband swore and jerked into a contorted human pretzel. "You got my dick in the zipper," he cried out. I'm so sorry," was all I could manage at first. I felt awful, I kept apologizing. I went to get ice but he kept saying it was alright and I barely got any skin, but I still feel terrible that I caused someone I love so much pain. He says it's fine and didn't even leave a mark, but I don't think he will let me near his zipper again. Today I messed up by sleeping with a girl who was, and still is, in a relationship. So this happened years ago, but soon I'll return to my city again and it's planned a reunion where I should meet with her again. Almost 6 years ago, I became friends with a group of people from different classes in my school, and in this group there was this girl, Virginia, fake name. She was, and still is, incredibly stunning, and I fell almost immediately for her, but she was dating another guy of the group, who was also one of my closest friends there, so I never made a move on her or anything. I just tried to move on. But then, the following year, they broke up, and some members of that group had started to hang out without the others. Pretty much like with every other group of friends during high school, the group split up. Me and Virginia started to hang out with some of our friends from other groups of friends, and started to grow close, until, that summer, we kissed and started to date. I felt incredibly good, but suddenly, she disappeared out of the blue, and a few days later, my best friend, who is also a close friend of Virginia, we'll call her Claire, told me that she had a new boyfriend, and a few days later, her Instagram confirms it. I discovered that she had just used me, going out with me for people to see us and to show to her old boyfriend that she could easily find someone else after he had dumped her, and she had lied to me about liking me, since, as she admitted to Claire, she never liked me, but thought I'd come in handy. We had a big fight, we stopped talking, then she came to me to apologize, but Claire told me that she did it only because she missed me having me around, and not because she felt sorry. Anyway, life got in between, and I moved to another city distant from mine for college, but I still came back for holidays. Luckily, my birthday came during one of these, and I met with all our group of friends for dinner. At dinner, she came to me and started to behave strangely, until, after dinner, she legitimately tried to sexually arouse me hoping that the others wouldn't notice. Spoiler, they did. I had known from Claire that her relationship with her BF was going bad in the previous months, but after I walked her home by the end of the evening, she told me that she was still dating him, but that he was just annoying her constantly. We arrived at her house, and she asked me if I wanted to go with her for a while, so she could have a smoke. Moral of the story, we ended up doing it on her balcony, with her saying that she was a slut for doing that but at the same time asking me to keep going. As for me, I was still mad at her for how she behaved with me, and I'm not gonna lie, she is still very beautiful, so I thought that this was the best chance to get payback and that, after that, we'd be even. But now, I'm feeling bad for her BF, who still loves her with all of his heart, and thinks she is loyal, even though it wasn't the first time that she had cheated on him with other men, but I think that this is not a justification for helping her doing it one more time. As I said, soon I'll have to meet with her probably, and it'd be the first time we meet after that happening, and I'm afraid things will get really awkward pretty fast, and she could even bring her BF with her since Claire told me she brings him with her everywhere. Today I messed up by taking my 8-year-old to Spencer's in the mall. Happened yesterday. She wanted new stickers for her water bottle. It was her last day of summer and it's been a summer of bummer due to some health issues on my end. So we crafted a plan to go on an adventure. Hot Topic was the plan. Walked in, saw a Spencer's. Remember them selling dumb stuff in my youth. Assuming Spencer's would have some stickers, we walked in. The front of the store was pretty casual and had the dumb parody shirts I remember from my youth. We walked further into the belly of the beast and inappropriate t-shirts were displayed. Things like I heart hot dads and I freaking hate Mondays. Not ideal, but she wasn't paying attention. Then we get to the back wall. Naughty toys, candy things, and the real cherry on the top, a butt plug with a tail. Fortunately, she was fixated on finding stickers and didn't ask questions. I didn't freak out, just quickly walked to the exit. Then I spent $50 on stickers at Hot Topic.